good morning, good day, and good evening. I'm, as always, your host, Brody Robertson. As I tend to do, we are currently doing a late night episode. It is 12:30 a.m., so by the end of this, it's going to be 2:30 a.m. We'll see how we go. But putting that aside for now, today we have the developer and creator of a project known as Super Productivity. I am not much in the productivity planning sort of space, but apparently people like this application. So introduce yourself and yeah, let's get into talking about what the project is.
Yeah, hi. Thank you very much for having me. I started, I'm working as a programmer for like 15 years or so.
Mm,
And it happened like for one project, I had to do like Jira time tracking, I think some 9 years ago.
mm, mm, mm.
And as most programmers, I found it quite cumbersome to do like all these manual steps again and again. And
Mm,
so
mm,
like I wrote a little tool for myself where I can do that. And for some reason it really stuck with me as a tool, and I kept changing it. I kept adding stuff, and recently, like it has grown quite a bit. There are more and more people contributing to it, and it's also really gotten quite complex, I'd say.
mm,
There's
mm,
a plugin system, there is a dedicated sync server, there's lots of integration, there's lots of stuff.
mm, mm, mm.
Um, I still really enjoy working on it.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
looking at the commit graph right now. It's like it started, it sort of went up a bit, and then it kind of died down around 2022, 2023-ish, and then it's just flown back up.
Yeah, actually, now that you mentioned it, I don't really know like if it's maybe also a little bit connected to Corona.
Mm, mm,
That
mm.
people, I don't know, who worked from home for the first time, maybe they started to look for some way to organize themselves,
Mm, 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 mm.
because it's not so easy for everyone, I think. Like if you're used to having this outer structure, um, maybe that's the reason. And recently, I think like the recent influx of um, new contributors, it's
Mm,
also maybe related to people having more access to
mm,
coding with the whole AI thing. I think that makes it much easier to contribute code.
mm, mm, mm.
Um, so that's maybe a reason for it. Sure, but it's definitely at the time being, I would say it's a very good thing that it's more accessible to people.
Mm, mm.
Yeah.
So, for anyone who might be sort of unaware of what this project is, because for me, I have a very structured day. It might look chaotic to anyone else, but I have a system that I follow. I don't deviate from the system. So for me, I don't really need to, plan out, oh, there's a meeting here, there's a thing happening here. I structure everything in a way where I'm going to do the same thing every week, that same day, every time. But for someone who maybe has a more hectic day or really wants to keep track of what they're doing, they want to make sure they are, not wasting time on things. What does this project actually do? Like, what makes it interesting?
Yeah, yeah. There are two sides to it, like two main features, or at least that's how it started out. The one part is the to-do thing, the writing down of what you're gonna do, so you don't lose track of it. And the other part is a time tracking part,
Mm,
which turned out also to be quite a good productivity tool in itself, because uh, at least for me, like when I thought about time tracking, it's more like a cumbersome thing. I'd rather avoided it, but it turns out like that the act of starting a timer before you work does something to your brain.
mm,
And, like especially in programming, it yeah, for some reason, at least for me, and apparently also for other people, this works. It helps you to stay on one zoom in on one task.
Mm.
And this is often important in program, maybe also like in knowledge work. Um, Also, especially maybe if you have something which is a little bit harder to do. And I found this helps me, and is a good tool. Um, yeah. And
I guess.
another thing which
I was gonna say, I guess with that's gonna happen a lot. What I was gonna say is, a lot of people find it very easy to get distracted, and I guess if you have you have access to social media, you can go watch YouTube videos. So having a timer there, when you're in school, for example, you have, this is the class time, this is like the dedicated time, there's someone watching you doing the work. But when especially if you're doing your own thing, like you're doing contract work, you're not in an office, I could very easily see, and I do tend to get distracted myself, people either bouncing around between tasks or just not really being able to focus without having some sort of structured environment around them. And having a timer there is sort of a artificial, but still a structure that you can sort of lock yourself into for that task.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, I think. And it's also like this way of working. It also is like it's a good reflection tool, because like you recognize when you're switching task, when you're ending at a completely different task, when you're working on something. And for the most part, I think we touched it briefly, like before we started recording. Like it's productivity is a very individual thing. Like everyone has different preferences, and also like what works for one is also changes over time, and it changes with the circumstances. Um, so like maybe also part of the reason why the tool stuck so much with me is that there was always something new to try out for me personally, what works, what maybe doesn't work. And that's and I think it is really a good tool, like for this experimentation kind of stuff. Yeah.
I think you can sort of get yourself into you can sort of trick yourself into being productive when you start testing out a lot of these productivity tools, where rather than actually, trying to accomplish the task, and it's sort of a problem with customizing your Linux desktop as well, where you are customizing it, you are trying to find the perfect thing for you, and you end up never actually doing the initial task that you had intended to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I know that pretty well. I like many years ago, I wrote my master's thesis, and I was really not motivated to do it, and I obsessed about other stuff, but not really the stuff I was supposed to do.
Right.
And so I'm not the biggest fan like of this hustle culture that people want to get always the most out of themselves. I also think like it's also not always the best way to go about productivity, because like working long over hours and pushing yourself very hard, that might work for a time, but it's it usually doesn't in the long run. There may be few exceptions, like I don't know, like top managers or politicians which work a lot, and keep doing that. But many other people, also friends of mine, they tend to burn themselves out. So for me, like the name, I'm not so happy with it, actually, to be honest. Like because super productivity sounds really like hustle culture. But what I'm trying this tone I'm trying to strike with the app is also like more one of bit more self-compassion, which is also like a very, very good productivity tool, surprisingly. Um, because like usually procrastination also has to do with pushing yourself maybe too hard often. Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely hit on something important there, where a lot of people, you if you don't give yourself a break, you're eventually going to if you don't give yourself a break, you're eventually going to break, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And like even the highest of high performers, they might take very small breaks. They might have some crazy life you don't understand, but they have a system that works for them. And I think ultimately that's what you need to find. You need to find what is going to work for you. How do I best handle the time I have? How do I achieve the things that I want to achieve? It may not be the most extravagant of extravagant goals. It might just be, hey, I want to sit down and, I don't know, make sure I language study every day, right? Something like that. You know, you want to, I don't know, you want to learn French. I don't know. Pick a language. And it's not the craziest goal, but it's something where you are saying that I am going to do this, and I'm going to make sure that I find a way to make it happen.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people really struggle with sort of, I guess, planning out. Again, goes back to what I was saying, right? A lot of people really struggle to get themselves to actually motivated to do something without having something there that is pushing them to do it.
Yeah. I mean, like, no productivity tool in the world will give you will give you motivation to do something you don't want to do, or you have like strong resistance to. And sometimes there are good reasons for that.
Sure.
I think maybe I don't know, you should clean your room once in a while, and that's something to get over. But yeah, there might be tasks which, or like a work culture for you personally, which is not really worth it. Yeah, for example, like the app has like a break timer. This is one thing that yeah, tries to help us that, because like, yeah, as you mentioned, like breaks are quite important. And there's also like you have a daily summary part which you don't have to use, but also like a little bit of reflection at the end of the day is I think usually a good thing, not only for productivity in itself, but also for, yeah, maybe life satisfaction if you want. Like to for example, I often ran into the phenomenon that I yeah, work quite a lot over the day, but for example, like I just check GitHub issues and work one after the other, one after the other, and one after the other. And at the end of the day, I did quite a lot of stuff, but I didn't really remember what I did. And it often feels very doesn't feel so good at the end of the day. So it's yeah, for me personally at least, it feels better to be more conscious about what I want to do over the day, and which doesn't mean there isn't room for deviation from that, but so in order not to get lost like by what you feel is, yeah, like from outside pressures, so to say.
I definitely have that similar sort of feeling. It might seem weird with sort of like, because it's such a different thing, but I will work on a video, I'll record a video, and I'll be locked in on that video. And you've probably had a similar thing where you are locked in on an issue you're working on. And I will do all these videos. I usually bulk record, so I'll do 4 one day, 2 the next day, and then I have my videos for the week. I sometimes forget. I have to go back to my list of videos to remember, like, what is it? I know I recorded 2 other videos today. What the hell was I talking about like 3 hours ago? I don't, and it can be a problem, right? I have a system that's managed to make this work, but I know exactly what you're talking about. You can kind of sort of memory hold those things you've worked on, even though you cared about them, even though they're important when you're doing them. When you moved on to the next task, it's just, it's just vanished from your mind.
Yeah, yeah. And as I mentioned, like it's not really that that's the only way to do it, or maybe like I think there's a lot good to say about pen and paper, because it also connects your brain in a different way. But yeah, for me, I like to remove like the friction and for example, like for the super productivity, I can it's easy to with the integrations, you can pull in stuff. For example, when I worked, I'm working as a freelance programmer, and very often companies use Jira, and it's somehow nice to pull the information into one place and to have it. Yeah, accessible quickly, because like another yeah important factor, especially for this kind of deep work, is how much context switching you have to do, which is another thing which is really exhausting for the brain. And so yeah, that's also a thing which helps me quite a bit, that I don't have to yeah, open the browser or just have all in one place to visualize how things could play out over the day.
Well, the thing with context switching, well, especially when it comes to opening the browser, that is a point where you can distract yourself, right? You've opened the browser.
Yeah, yeah,
Now, oh, well,
yeah,
hey, look, I
yeah,
have my favorite sites here. I could go to YouTube or the other thing and
yeah.
just watch a video for 5, 10, 15, 30 minutes.
It's crazy. I've some things I've so ingrained into my muscle memory. Like when I open the browser, and I don't have a particular task. It's so often that I have RE for Reddit typed in, so it happens automatically. Also with my phone, like there's stuff is so ingrained, like because probably it's gives you like this dopamine, um, and it's so connected to getting that, like eating chocolate. Uh, uh,
I think it's something that these sites are designed to pull you in as much as possible. I think it's something you have to acknowledge, because you can't change the problem without acknowledging it. I think
yeah, yeah,
that I guess is something, even if you're not going to plan a lot of other stuff with a tool like this, using that as a way to track how much time you're wasting, even something like that by itself, I think already has some value.
yeah, probably. Yeah, it definitely works for me. Uh, mm,
So, what is some of the other like functionality that exists in super productivity now? Because you talked about stuff that's been there pretty much since the start, but obviously it has expanded quite a bit since then.
yeah. Yeah, one thing which is a little bit newer is like the whole plugin system. Um, So yeah, there are several built-in plugins. I don't know. There's, for example, there's an automations plugin. There is actually I have to look it up. What did we got? There is like a procrastination anti-procrastination plugin. There is several integrations. There is like a voice reminder, which was previously called Domina mode, because it like repeats the title of the current task you're working on every, I don't know how often you want. um, and then yeah, there's lots of stuff. There's also like a very cool community plugin, which it's called Quest Arc, which yeah is like a gamification system. You have like experience points and different levels, and
Where
yeah,
can
there's
I find these plugins?
if you have the app open and
Oh, okay.
you can go to the settings.
Mhm. Oh, is there somewhere I can see them online? I don't have the app open right now.
Now it's only in the app, but you
Okay,
can.
okay.
Wait, I sent you a link. It's you can also use it as web app. There is everything. Let me quickly
Oh, yes,
send
yes, okay, yeah, I see the web app. Okay.
it.
Okay. Here we
Yeah.
go. Now, okay. Ah, here we go. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
What do you mean
Then
open?
at the bottom left, you have like a settings button.
Sorry. I had another tab open with it. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Can I? Okay, let's see. Simple to-do list. Set. Here we go. Okay, yeah. Now we're good. Okay, sweet, sweet. Okay, settings and then the plugins. Here we go. Okay, sweet.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, sorry.
And I,
Sidetracked there a little bit.
no worries. And I think also like I know not everyone is such a big fan of AI, but I think like having this plugin system also is also very accessible. You can give the specification to the AI of your choice, and you can say like I want to have this and that, and usually it if it's not too complicated of an idea, like it should work pretty well. Maybe with an iteration or two on it. So yeah, that also really plays into the thing of experimenting with what works for you personally. Um, yeah, so I think it's pretty flexible in this regard. There's also furthermore you have you can configure the app quite a bit also because yeah, as I mentioned, there are quite a bit of features, but you can turn everything off, and then it's just really a very very simple bare bone to do app, and just yeah, I would recommend to try it out and maybe just turn out what you find is interesting or might work for you, and not start with everything all at once. There's also like if a simple to-do list is working for you, I think there's no reason really other than your curiosity maybe to change something about it. You don't also it's it's not required to use all the features of the app. It's yeah, it's totally fine just to use what works for you. Uh,
Yeah, as you said, it's a very sort of personal thing. Having a system that works for what you specifically are trying to get out of it.
yeah, yeah.
So, how long has the project been in development for at this point?
Hey, I'm not very good with years, but I think it should be 9 years now.
Wow.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, as I mentioned, it started really as a small tool for myself, and then I put it on GitHub as a younger programmer, hoping I don't know, everyone jumping on board, and yeah, greatest tool ever. It's not how it worked. Like for many years, yeah, there always have been some users, some other users, but not many. And yeah, and for some reason it got a bit more popular and also got a little bit of press. And yeah, and I think now it's probably one of the biggest open source to do apps. I would think. Um, Yeah, and it's for me, it's still very surprising when I meet people in the real world or people writing me and saying, "Oh yeah, this works really well for me," because maybe also because like usually I just interact with people over GitHub over issues, and then if people are telling me, "Oh yeah, it's really," and I'm using it like this. It's always really cool to see that. Um, Mm.
I've got the GitHub star history open right now. It seems like it generally just trended upwards for a while. Then mid to late 2024, it had a massive spike upwards. I don't know if there was some press coverage then or what happened at that point. I'll send you the link just so you
Yeah,
can get a little idea of it. Um, here you go. Uh, because clearly something happened at that point.
if it was in the middle of, yeah, I think that might have been a live hacker article that came out.
Ah, okay.
And this was, yeah, I think this brought in more users than, yeah, many of the other articles combined.
Mm.
Um, yeah. So it was never like a viral moment, I would say. Even then, afterwards, it's yeah, still uh, was not that all of a sudden a million people and were using the app and everyone was talking about it. It's more yeah, more story of long and slow growth, I'd say. Um, uh, yeah, which I think is a little bit unusual for a GitHub project. I think the many open source projects, or if you take for example Joplin, I think that's a note-taking application, which has similarities to super productivity. And I think for them, it was they had really their viral moment when Evernote, I don't know, they changed something. I think they maybe costs money or something like that. And then it grew really
Right,
quite a
right.
bit. But yeah, so far there hasn't been something like this for super productivity. Um, and yeah, and probably there might not be because yeah, we touched it already. Like it's so individual, and everyone has or many people already have a tool which fit their needs pretty well. So it's probably something which yeah, will hopefully still grow over time, but there might be not such a big spike at some point.
Well,
I assume.
you've clearly already got something that people are really enjoying. I don't think it doesn't need to just suddenly explode. Of course, that would be nice. Having more people using it would be great. But you've already done something really impressive here, right? You've already built something which a lot of people are clearly enjoying, and the growth isn't slowing down, right? Like, there's still a lot of people that are getting interested in it, people that are trying it out, and you know, maybe it won't be the biggest of biggest things, but I think you still celebrate like what you already have.
Yeah, definitely. And also, like for me, it's like as I said, maybe I've been working as a programmer for many years, and I said most of the apps I have been working on, most of the stuff I've been working on, I didn't feel any emotional connection to,
Right,
and
right. It was just
there,
like a corporate app you were working on because a client wanted
yeah,
it.
probably wouldn't have made much of a difference if all of these apps never existed,
Mm.
and I didn't see so much value in them, to be honest. And like for super productivity, yeah, it really has some value for me personally. That's which I really enjoy to build something which yeah, which makes me happy when I can use it during the day.
Mm.
Uh, I added a new feature and I think it works well. Like this is always a nice moment during the day,
Mm.
and also while I'm not the biggest fan of this hustle culture, I yeah, sometimes I don't really know if it is like that, but I'd like to think that it's yeah also nice that it helps some people to get more enjoyment out of the work. And yeah, there and it seems to happen,
Mm.
and that's also a really cool thing. And even if it's just a couple of 100 people, it's yeah still nice. It's something you build with your own hands, so to say. It gets used, like
Mm.
to provide something useful. It's I like that quite a bit.
So, when it first got started, I guess what was that like? And then when did you decide I'm gonna actually start just expanding this out? Because initially it was probably for a very niche use case, right? And then you sort of you added things onto it from there. So when it first started, like what was the project like?
When it first started, it was just to-do app with a connection to Jira.
Mm,
Because this was the main use case back then for me. Yeah, as I mentioned, the whole time tracking thing, I didn't want to do it anymore. So it probably would have taken less time to just do the damn time tracking manually than building the tool, but that's how it started.
mm, mm,
And yeah, I think it's still a bit of a niche tool. Like I think the people most drawn to it are people who are privacy conscious,
mm,
because there is no necessity to have an online account with it. You can use it completely offline. You can use Dropbox for syncing if you want. You can even end-to-end encrypt the data before you it gets synced to Dropbox, so they can't read it,
mm, mm,
and that's probably a strong part of the user base. And then also, yeah, people suffering from ADHD. At least I got several emails from people saying, it's really, I don't know, the first tool that worked for me or something
mm,
like that.
mm,
And third, developers,
mm.
because you have all these integrations and you can tinker around, and yeah, that's probably the people who are most drawn to it.
Mm.
Uh,
So when did you when you first made it, did you initially publish it on GitHub publicly, or was that something that came sort of after the fact?
mm, It probably was pretty soon after
Mm.
it was done, or after the first working version was done. Yeah,
Here's
yeah.
another thing. When did you realize that you got to a point where you were making something that wasn't just for you? Because you had your use case, right? But as you added more things into it, I'm sure there are parts of the app that you don't use maybe actively today, maybe you use at some point, but it's not part of your core workflow. You could, if that wasn't part of the project, you could completely live without it. So when did you realize that you were sort of building something for more than just yourself, that clearly other people were getting something else out of it?
Mm. Yeah, I think when I restarted receiving feedback about like personal emails,
Mm,
or also like longer post just mentioning not mentioning a bug or something, but just saying like, oh, that's really cool. I
mm.
can't pin it down in
Sure, sure.
when that started to happen, but um, yeah, probably, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 years in or something like that.
Mm,
But that was yeah, that was the moment I think I realized it. And um, yeah, also I think back then, beginning at least, I was also hoping that this might become the thing I can work on every day.
mm,
Like I can sustain myself with, and it's it didn't become that, but uh, yeah, it's still like there are people using it,
mm,
and also like it has the advantage, if it's like that I feel a little bit less pressured, like it's less work and it's more like a hobby. Like every time I spend time on it, it's because I want to and because I enjoy it. And yeah, there's definitely also some
Mm.
advantages to that, I'd say.
Mm. And that sort of leads into the discussion around project funding. And I've talked to a lot of project developers about this. With what this project is, right? I don't think anyone would be surprised if you were charging for it. From what I
Yeah.
can see, it seems like that's the way that a lot of things go. Either it is paid from the start, or there is a additional paid premium tier.
Mm.
What are your?
Yeah,
I know you don't have that. What are your thoughts on that, and where do you sort of think about funding?
yeah. There are donations, but it is not enough to live from, at least not in Germany where I'm located.
Mm-hmm.
Um, um, and also like with this whole AI wave, like it's for programmers, everything got a little bit more complicated. So I thought also like to take it as an opportunity to work on it a little bit more, and but it was always out of question that yeah, you can't. It doesn't feel right to make an open source app or an app that was free to make people pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't want. But there have always been like sync has always been a little bit tricky because yeah, it requires a little bit of setup. Like you need a Dropbox account or and also like with this file-based things, it works all right. But yeah, like file storage is not really like a technology really built for that. Like you always upload the whole data, and it takes a little bit longer. And yeah, I thought that adding as a sync solution, which works a little bit better for it, could be a way to go. Uh, always was also always pretty clear that it should be open source, so people can self-host it if they want to. But that this might be a way to, yeah, maybe to make it possible for me to work on it full time, which is, I have to admit, it's still like a thing I'd love to see happen. Um, and that this could maybe a way to get there. And yeah, at the moment it's also completely free. It might be like there's also a big warning that it might cost some money in the future. I honestly don't know at the moment when this might be or if at all. But yeah, this could be one way to do it. And yeah, and I think everything else, like having a premium version of the app, uh, having paid for premium microtransaction, this all didn't feel good. And but having like this sync service, which also costs money and which is also is a legal risk to have this user data. Like if you lose it, like people can sue you. I think it's pretty legitimate to say like, okay, for this in particular, it's a service maybe I can't provide for free. So yeah, I don't know how the whole thing will develop. But yeah, we'll see in the coming months, I guess.
I think sync's one of those things which is like a reasonable thing, especially with if you're just there's other solutions to sync it anyway, right? It's not like you're just like locking users out of the ability of manually syncing stuff if they want to sync it through Dropbox. I think having a integrated hosted solution that someone can pay a bit for, that's totally fine. I think this is actually something that I think Thunderbird had actually been bouncing around that idea for their paid tier. I think that's generally an okay thing. Like like funding is a weird one. I actually had a discussion with it. The podcast I did earlier, I guess it would be yesterday now. The other podcast I did in the last 24 hours, there's a problem in open source where the expected value of a lot of things, and it's a problem and it's a benefit, but the expected value of things is 0. And this creates a situation where obviously there's a lot of charity work done, a lot of people who otherwise wouldn't be able to afford software, wouldn't be able to do all of these amazing things, wouldn't be, like, you know, it lets people have these incredibly powerful systems, and you don't have to pay for it. At the same time, there's things that cost money, right? And finding a way that you can fund that, I think ultimately comes like a personal moral question, because a lot of people are totally fine selling a service. A lot of people are fine selling support services, right? Like the Red Hat model. A lot of people are fine just selling just an application to begin with, but I don't think I can really answer this question for anyone else. I think it's one of those things where you have to decide what you are personally comfortable with, and yeah, I think anything that wouldn't have made it into the core project, I think, is up for grabs, right? And I know you put out a post a while ago, like 5 months ago, about the idea of paid premium plugins. If these were never going to be things that were built into the project, I'm not personally, like, I don't think it's a bad thing, right?
Mm. Yeah, interesting that you mentioned that, because that was a moment I was a bit surprised, because like in my head I thought, oh yeah, that's cool, I can do stuff I wouldn't do otherwise, because yeah, I don't
Maybe
have
out
the
of scope
capacity
of the
to.
core application.
Yeah, for example, like yeah, maybe some freelancer tool for that connects to other services, or stuff that I wouldn't need myself, and that, but it's still very complicated, but it's such a niche use case that it isn't justified to spend so much time on it,
Right.
and to bring it, put the polish on. Also, without being paid for, that would be something like I just can't put the polish in. But yeah, people were very opposed to the idea. I think also partly because like microtransaction have such a bad yeah, there are so many bad examples of it, how to do it, like with, especially with gaming, with mobile gaming, and yeah, the whole maybe the whole software as a service thing. So that idea was grabbed, but yeah, it's as you mentioned, it's a little bit of a tricky question, and also a little bit of a yeah, sometimes maybe a little bit, yeah, I can't really put it, but like a expectation that something is basically done as something for free, as providing for society, which unfortunately, as our whole system works, is only something very privileged people, and I, as the freelance programmer, have been very privileged over years to have been able to do something on the side, despite not needing a second job or something like that. And so there's definitely some tension to it, because people yeah, need money in our economy, and that probably won't change anytime soon. But there is a little bit this expectation that it has to be free and morally pure, so to say, maybe. And I don't have any answer to to that at all, but yeah, I find it interesting.
No, it's definitely an interesting philosophical problem to deal with. I think when it comes to, I still think a big part of it is like, who is the target for the feature, right? If you're building some integration with a corporate system, right, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to charge for that, because if it's something that is only reasonably being used by, programming professionals, for example, people that are actually employed as developers, I don't think it's unreasonable to charge a small fee, because those are people that are like, these are not just the average person. Like, this is someone is employed in a relatively good job that can afford to spend a bit on well-made professional software, right? If you're operating in I don't know, you're operating in graphic design, right? You're paying ludicrous amounts of money to Adobe. I don't think it's unreasonable, especially if it's like a one-time fee of €5, €10, to have something like that. But
Yeah.
again, it's a matter of like, where do you really stand on this? I personally don't have an issue with it, but at the same time, I can understand why people do.
Mm. Yeah, maybe it also has something to do like how the whole internet thing came to life. That yeah, we are so used to like all the Google apps and stuff being free, or at least you don't see so much, but you're paying with, or it's less of a cost for you to do that in the moment, and
Right, that
which yeah.
the Google apps and other that, I think that's kind of that is a big problem that does exist. Again, it's a problem, but it's nice to have them. A lot of really big, whether they're open source or whether they're proprietary, a lot of really big projects can afford to be free because they're being subsidized by the existence of a big company that funds it, right? If Google wants to release, and let's say they want to release an ad that doesn't even, like an app that doesn't even collect your data, it's just a good free app, Google can tank the hit for that. They can spend $100,000, make it really professional. They don't even have to think about it. They can just release it for free. And that has created a market where, again, the expected value for a lot of things is nothing, but the environment where it is made is very different. The environment of some random guy making something open source is very different from a team of developers at Google or some other company that made something and they just happen to release it for free.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, as I mentioned, I don't really have an answer to that, but um, maybe it's good to take this into mind before getting angry when small apps start to wanting your money.
Well, some of them are pretty,
yeah,
especially mobile apps. Some of them can get pretty egregious. I've seen
yeah,
there's some which do like, it'll be like, hey, it's a $15 a week subscription fee. Like, are you sorry? How much did you say?
yeah.
Because what they expect people to do is sign up once and then forget to cancel their card and then just keep paying for it. There are like these really scummy tactics which do exist.
Yeah,
And that's not something you really see in the open source space, at least. There's probably something, but I completely understand your sort of your concerns with actually doing this, but I think it's good that you're actually having the concerns, right? I think it's important to think about why you're doing something, how you're going to approach it.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I'm no different. Like, I don't like to have like 20 subscriptions going and to have like, going not like back then you bought software once. It's of course software works different. You can't do that anymore. But yeah, there's definitely a barrier to it, to doing that. And I don't know. Yeah. sometimes it's easier to just pay a little bit of money. For example, if I use something for work, then I don't think about it too hard if I really see some value in it. But yeah, I don't know for I don't know mobile game or something, it would feel weird. Or also like I feel very strongly put off if I see the only way is like to pay for something is you have to make you have to manually cancel like the so what you mentioned this or you accidentally want to try this out and then you forget to cancel it, and it it's really I hate that. I hate it. I always cancel right away if something like that occurs.
I think with how bad subscriptions have gotten, a lot of people are coming back around to the idea of one-time payments. Just let me buy, even if it's just for this major version, let me just buy a license. It's just one fee, even if it's a bit more expensive, right? It's nice to know that you don't have this recurring payment that is constantly ticking away. And then again, like if you forget about the software, you stop using it, swap to something else, then you got another thing, and it's nice to just know that you have bought something. And again, this is talking from a position where I have the money to be able to buy a bit of software if I want to buy it. It's really important that we do have all of this stuff that is for free, but look, ultimately I don't know what the answer is here. I really don't.
Yeah, it's really messy for some reason. Yeah.
Yeah. Software, I think just software in general is kind of messy. There's But I do think it's definitely fun to get into these discussions, right? I think it's nice to sort of see the different perspectives that people have on this and where they are approaching these issues from.
Yeah.
So if somebody go on.
What did I want to say? Yeah, maybe this that like for those niche apps to exist, of course they need they maybe provide let's say less value or less features than like some maybe in the space of productivity, like maybe to-dos would do. I don't think that's really true, but just as an example, because there are just not as many people using it. Yeah, don't know.
One last thing on that topic. I think it also matters how many other things are similar in that space, right? Like if we're talking about a code editor, or we're talking about a to-do app, right? There is whilst this tool might do a lot of things, if you specifically just want the to-do functionality, there's a lot of different alternatives to that. So again, it's like it's hard to sell something in a market where people have alternatives that are vastly cheaper.
Yeah. And also interestingly, like the visibility thing, no? It's like what you don't always have all the information what might be the best solution out there, and so yeah, I did a little bit of research on the to-do space, and yeah, there to some apps which have like millions of downloads, they don't offer a lot of functionality. They're probably doing what they do pretty well in some regards. Some of them have really yeah, really pushy sales mechanics in them, but still it's because they have this big budget, they reach so many more people that this yeah that this works well for them. It's also interesting to me. Yeah.
So, as the project has evolved and as it's gotten like new functionality, how do you find yourself using it today? Because obviously, initially you had that Jira integration, but what about now?
Yeah, I usually I try to do a little bit of planning at the start of the day.
Mm-hmm.
I have yeah, my main project set up, which I use. Then I have Google Calendar integration because I have that, and then because most of the project lives on GitHub, I'm pulling in. I'm using the GitHub integration quite a bit. That I'm pulling in the issues from there, so I have them directly inside the app, and then I have a little timer for how much I use the standing desk, um, because like I have back pain. um, and then for planning, I sometimes use the boards feature also, which is pretty nice. It's like yeah, very configurable lanes or panels you can have. Yeah, I don't know, similar to what's called Trello, but very flexible and customizable that I use. And then I use yeah, then I use just the standard features like tags, and I use the time tracking. Just not I don't have to send it in to anyone, but just for me personally, just yeah, as a psychological thingy, and also like to have an overview, maybe where my time went. So to be honest, I don't check it as much. Yeah, I think that's basically it. So nothing too fancy about it. Sometimes I use the notes feature for things, and yeah, is there something else maybe which? Yeah, there's the focus timer. I use it sometimes now, especially yeah, we just recently got a baby, which means that I have less time a little bit, or that I have short windows where I can work. And so I use the focus timer like for that to set a countdown, so I can work an hour, and then I have to change some diapers or something. Yeah. Um, yeah, and I use this new sync feature, of course, and I don't know. Does it make sense to show a little bit of it via screen sharing, or
If you
I
want
don't know.
to, yeah, if you're fine doing that.
Let me just check real quickly that I don't have anything compromising in my to-do list. So maybe not. Yeah. Then
Okay. Um, Theoretically, we can do this and then do
yeah.
that. Yes, that works. Lovely. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet.
Did you see it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is the format okay? Shall I make it a little bit bigger or smaller? Or
If you can make it just a little bit bigger, that.
yeah, let's do it.
Okay, yeah, that should be fine. That gives us a rough idea.
Cool. Yeah, that's basically how it looks. As you can see, I'm also tracking our call. um, then yeah, I have different tasks from different projects. Like these little badges are projects, and there are tags. For example, A is I did use it for top priority. Um, that's usually what I have open all the time on my second screen, on my laptop screen. And then if I yeah, need to do some planning over time, I use a planner. Like, uh, that. Then here's the boards feature. For example, you have custom board just for super productivity. Like here is stuff, I configured this lane to just show things I've already planned for a certain day. Then I have those for priority, and another one. This I use sometimes. Then there's also like the schedule, which auto generates how it would play out over time, which I find useful sometimes. Yeah, that's what I use mostly. At the moment, there's also habits feature. I just use it for standing desk, and you can see here are the projects on the left, and then it's also maybe the issue panel I'm using often. Maybe that's also interesting. Like you have it here pre-configured to you can use this GitHub mark syntax here,
Okay.
and this is pre-configured like to do these things. You can bookmark that, and so it stays in there with this button. And then I have all the issues that are assigned to me and are open here. And then when I click here, maybe this. Then I have it inside the app, and I can also check here the issue stuff, and there are the logs, the comments, and everything. This I use very often, and there's also like a deadlines feature. I don't have too many deadlines these days. I don't set myself, and so I don't use it as much, but it's there. You can add notes here with Markdown. You can also, if you need a level deeper, you can also use Markdown lists inside here. You can attach things. Lots of options. Maybe let me also show this. But you can this in the settings you can turn everything off. Like I have everything on, but maybe also a little thing while we are at it.
Okay.
What I like also, I haven't used it quite some time, is like this schedule panel. You can open it, and then you can this time you can drag your tasks here to yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Can resize them here, and and as you can see, is reminders are approaching. You get a little bar at the top. You can also always turn everything off. And see.
Does he know where the settings in his own app are?
Yeah. Maybe here short glance at the plugins. I'm using GitHub issues and the Google Calendar thing, and but there are also lots of more stuff. And very recently, I added you can also add sections.
Oh, okay.
That's maybe. Let me think. Maybe something else interesting. It's probably the most interesting stuff. Maybe plugins is also. Let me show how example plugin looks. For example, here's like the procrastination buster plugin. And what this particular plugin does, it adds a button here at the top, and if you have here like different triggers of procrastination or different modes of procrastination, and then, for example, I don't know, I feel overwhelmed by the stuffs I have, and then strategies, and like this one, has a link, like so you can execute it directly. And yeah, maybe one last thing. Yeah, there's seams. So this is also was added recently that it's a little bit more bare bones. And you can and you can set different background images and colors for the project. And focus mode. Now, you can use flow time, Pomodoro countdown. For example, if I count down, then yeah, we have a countdown that's just running here. Can also write some notes. And because this is you won't see it, but yeah, because this is like I see the icon. It's not probably aligned, but if you have like a task which is connected to an issue provider, like which also like the calendar stuff sounds as counts as one, then you also have a link here directly. For example, if this would be a GitHub issue, you would here have a link directly to the issue.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, I think now I'm done. Yeah.
Okay. That's really cool. If you're done, can you close the capture? Yeah, there we go. Sweet. Okay. Sweet, now we're back to normal. That's cool. That's really cool.
Cool.
I always see here's the thing, right? I always like to try out these productivity apps. And the problem that I have is I then I stop filling them out, right? And they're only as useful as you make them. So it's something where if you're going to use it, you have to actually use it. Otherwise, you're just like half using it, like filling it out some days, not filling it out others. Like maybe you get something out of it. Yeah. But if you're not using it consistently, you're eventually going to hit a point where you just stop using it entirely.
Yeah, absolutely. As we already said, like people are very different, and I think if you don't feel like you're missing out on something, then I think there's also no reason to force a productivity or to-do app into your day. It's more like if you try it out and it sticks, then it's probably a good thing. And if it doesn't, yeah, like people are so different. Also, like I don't know what your regular workday looks like, but maybe for the work or how you work, it's really not necessary to have that, or pen and paper are just better fits because maybe you don't do all this stuff at the computer or something like that.
I feel like for the sake of dealing with distractions, like having a timer there might actually be something that's useful.
Yeah.
I might have to properly mess around with it.
Yeah, maybe just start with like I don't know, a timer on your phone or something like that. Maybe just to see how it feels.
I think that's the other. It's nice you have the ability to disable a lot of the functionality, because that is something that a lot of these really big applications, they can feel kind of overwhelming. There's, a great example. It's a really good app for people that like it. Obsidian, amazing app.
Yeah.
There's a lot of functionality it has, though. And it can take a bit to sort of feel comfortable navigating around it, accessing the functionality you want to access. And obviously you can still use it in a basic way, but it can be overwhelming to try something like that out. That's my main point.
Yeah, it's a big risk. Also, I think Obsidian is a very good example for people. I'm also in the Obsidian subreddit, and there are often people who say like, I'm tinkering with my tools rather than doing the stuff I'm supposed to do. And there's little bit of that risk also with super productivity, I'd
Mm,
say.
mm, mm.
Um, so yeah, I really recommend just start with the basics. Don't think too much about it, and if you feel like there is an actual gap or a problem that might need solving, then expand from there.
Mm.
But yeah, don't don't spend yeah just working on your tools rather than use your tools.
Yeah, yeah. This is a real common problem on Linux. People customize their desktops and never do anything useful. I'm at the
Yeah,
point where my system is my system. I don't need to touch it.
yeah,
Nothing needs to change. It is what it is. It's not going to be good for anyone
yeah,
else, but it works for me. And it took
yeah,
it
yeah,
but it took me a long time to get to that
yeah,
point.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, it's funny also for me. Like I remember when I was starting out as a programmer, I was always jumping like on the new stuff. Oh, there's a new GNOME release or something. Oh, let's try it out. Oh, there's a tool. Try this out. And yeah, I don't know if it has to do with age, but these days also like I'm pretty conservative when it comes to that, and I'm just happy if my setup works and I don't have to spend so much time tinkering.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh,
So if somebody wants to get started with super productivity, what's the like what would you recommend they take a look at? I assume you have some documentation somewhere that they can
yeah,
getting started guide or something?
yeah, there is some documentation now. I think it's still a bit work in progress,
Mm.
but yeah, I can send you a link maybe later for the docs. For me personally, I'm not such a documentation guy.
Mm.
I like to do yeah, just try things out. And so what my recommendation would be is just to enter the web app
Mm.
into your browser and then play around with that a little bit because
Mm.
it
Mm.
has almost all the features already, which also the desktop app and the mobile app have. And if you like it, then download it. That's
Mm.
probably the best way to go about it.
Yeah, that's something we didn't mention before, but this is available on pretty much anything. Anything that you want
Yeah,
to run it on is probably going to be available in some form.
I regret that. I have to
Aha.
say
I
a
assume
little
that's
bit.
created a bit of a support nightmare.
Yes, yes, yes. Unfortunately, yes. It's yeah. It's also like the problems you encounter with different platforms. It's also not my favorite type of problem. They
Mm-hmm.
usually require some very specific knowledge and you knowledge you need for ever again in your life.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
And yeah, you're spending a lot of time in the dark if something doesn't work. Um, but yeah, now that it's there, I can't I can't uh, I can't pull it at the moment at least. Maybe if I find out like for example like that nobody uses the snap release anymore, then maybe I can limit it to just flat hub. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know.
Yeah, I'm
So,
looking at it right now. You've got obviously the Windows version. We've got a Windows ARM version as well for the 3 people that are using Windows ARM. Uh, but then on Linux, you have the app image, RPM, deb, snap, and flatpak.
yeah, we got everything.
And those are like, yeah, those are all official packages. Those are not like, hey, somebody has made one, go use that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Usually people pick
probably.
like one or two of those.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think I wanted to make it available everywhere, but yeah, in hindsight, maybe I shouldn't have. Like, I mean, like personally, I also have because some apps are only available on FlatHub, some only on Snap. I
Mm.
have both on my system, and I think most long time Linux users have it. And yeah. Would have been probably fine.
No, I you know if you can keep it up, I like having the options there, but I understand as well that desire to See, the problem is if you cut back now, it's like it's
Yeah.
hard because people are using it.
Oh, people don't like that. Like, understandably so.
Mm.
I said like I'm conservative myself, and I also hate it like when I start my computer and then something without me being responsible stops working. I don't like that as well. So,
Right, right.
uh,
No, I get it. I do get it. Maybe just don't add any more platforms, and you'll probably be good.
yeah, thank you. I hope I take it to heart.
Yeah. Well, what even else could you add? I don't even know. You know what? You, I don't know. You could make an AUR package.
What package?
That's
So,
the
yeah, another
yeah
package. Yeah, yeah.
you can make the AUR, the Arch user repository, the third-party package repo for
Yes,
Arch.
there
Yeah.
is one. There's one. This is actually this one is not maintained
Okay,
by
it's not
me.
made by you. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's cool that it exists. I
Mhm,
like
mhm.
that because I don't
You don't have
I
to
don't
do
have
it.
to think about it too much. Yeah,
Mhm, mhm.
yeah. Oh, there's luckily there's someone else doing it. Thank you, by the way.
Yeah, that is nice. I don't know if it's packaged well. I've got no idea. We can quickly find out to have a look. See if anyone's complaining in the comments on it. Um, looks like the current version actually might be. Okay, wait, no. Okay, so
Okay,
this comment's a year ago. Okay, there hasn't been a comment on it for about a year, so it seems like it's been fine for a while.
okay,
Okay,
okay, good, good. What operating system are you on yourself? What are you
I'm on Arch
using?
Linux.
Ah, yeah, wow, yeah, yeah. That's I'm a little bit. I thought I don't want to have my system break on me when I don't have the time. That's probably not fair to say it because I think it's probably pretty stable. Yeah.
There's been
How's it going?
there's been problems that have happened over the years. But we've been on a pretty good run for a while. There hasn't been any major issues. Um, yeah, and like I would say maybe the last 2 or so years, there hasn't been anything for my system which has caused a problem. Now, whether that's happened for other people, who knows? But at least my run has been pretty stable. Granted, I don't change things out a lot. As I said, I have a setup that works for me, and I pretty much just stick with it. So, with there being less things to break, it's you're less likely to run into issues. Um, the only issues I've had with my system have been hardware related, but that's unrelated to
Yeah,
Arch. That's
yeah,
just faulty drives dying and causing me a lot of fun nightmares.
yeah.
Yeah,
Sounds painful. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, when you're like editing and rendering video, the drives tend to get hit quite a bit, so it does sort of burn through them a little bit quicker than regular system use.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you had another project you wanted to talk about as well. I
Ah,
just want to
yes.
bring that up a bit.
Yeah. 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 Recently, I know it's a little bit of a controversial subject, but yeah, working as a programmer or at least like a web developer full
Mm-hmm,
time, there's currently no way around AI.
mm-hmm,
And so yeah, I've been using it also a lot in the past months, and there were many things or there were problems I encountered in working with it and in combining it with the existing tools I had. And so naturally, I built my own one. uh, and yeah, it's called Parallel Code.
mm-hmm,
And I have to say, for me personally, at least, it's really working well. Because I don't know if it's a problem most people encounter, but for me, I'm very bad with uh, waiting time.
mm-hmm.
If it be it a compiler or something, I yeah, when I have to wait longer than, I don't know, 6 seconds, then I open a browser and start procrastinating, or yeah.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah.
And so for me, I started doing multiple tasks side by side.
Mm.
Multitasking, not the best productivity strategy, but in this case, it's just yeah, it's just become a reality.
Mhm.
And it led to me at the end of the day program, I often felt very exhausted
Mm.
because yeah, content switching requires a lot of mental capacity, and it's yeah, it's it's really exhausting.
Mhm.
And so I thought, what would maybe ways to reduce the stresses it produces,
Mm.
and what I mean, you can't eliminate the stress completely,
Mhm.
but with the good UI, you can soften some of the problems that arise with it, and also related to that, the feeling of being lost a little bit, especially if you're doing these tasks side by side. It's yeah, easy to lose track of what you're doing, and getting in a weird I don't know, sleepy trance where
Mm.
you, yeah, where you don't know, just uh, go from terminal to terminal and press yes, allow. um, and yeah, so yeah, I came up with parallel code. It's at its core, it's basically a terminal wrapper,
Mm.
so you can run different agents side by side. What uh, comes on top of it is like automatic workflows. I don't know if you're familiar with Git workflows.
Mm.
Uh, it's yeah, it copies a Git folder completely, so you can yeah, work on the same project in different branches at the same
Mhm.
time. Basically,
Mhm.
that's
Mhm.
how I would put it. That's integrated into it, and then there are, yeah, several helpers to make it easier. Maybe I can also show
Yeah.
just
Yeah. If you
how
want
it
to show
looks.
it, yeah, go ahead.
So
I did have the video you had on the website playing, but I think yeah, if you walked me through it, that probably would be. Oh, there we go. Sorry,
yeah.
I
You
closed
see
off.
it?
I closed off the thing. Give me just 1 second. Okay, here. That. Yeah, there we go.
Well,
Okay,
as you
perfect.
can see, currently I have 3 tasks open, or for super productivity. Here, these are the main agentic terminals which are
Mhm.
running. I think it is Cloud, and Codex. And then you have changed file views, which shows like which files have been changed.
Mhm.
You can also here I have this test1 commit. You can also go through the commits
Mhm.
which have been done in this branch, so you can review changes yeah, more granularly.
Mhm.
Which makes it easier because AI does produce a lot of code, and the reviewing part yeah, becomes more important.
Mhm.
So I
Mhm.
thought this might be helpful. What I also like, you can navigate everything with the keyboard.
Mhm. Mhm.
Uh, can, for example, you can open like the changed file views, and um, then you have a review plan. If
Mhm.
there is a plan written to disk, you can also review the plans in, yeah, rendered Markdown, which makes it a little bit easier to read. And then also comment parts of this plan. Uh,
Mhm. Mhm.
Stupid AI.
Mhm.
Um, um, or you can ask it maybe. what the fuck? Yeah, and then it spins up an inline agent to explain what it
Okay.
probably takes some while. And you can the review comments you can send back to the agent terminal, and then yeah, it does something with it. Oh, you can see. Oh, yeah. What the fuck is probably yeah. Yeah, this I like. And then you have a notes panel, which also like you, for example, can use it to write down afterwards. Remember to run E to E, or you can use it for follow-up instructions. Yeah, I find this quite handy. And there's also a full screen view. So then you can still switch between tasks via keyboard very quickly. And yeah, here you can drop in GitHub links, which I did here, and so you have a link to it. Yeah, feature branches are created automatically. The work trees are created automatically. You have like a merge view. Shows which commits. Oh, there's lots of commits. And you can also push directly if you have a CI running to that. There's also it also indicators if there are errors on CI. Recently I also added code coverage detection, so then it would show you in the changed file panel, like yeah, if everything has code coverage. Then this is also a feature, an optional feature which you can use that it does summary while it's running stuff. So it becomes easier to, if you're switching terminals real quickly, you have a quick way to recap what was it all about, what did happen. And then what I also like is you have like terminal bookmarks, which you can use. For example, I could run the tests, and then I would have a little terminal here running the test. And yeah, what else is there? Yeah, and if I can add new tasks, I can select like which CLI I want to use. You can also configure additional ones if you want, if your tool isn't covered. And you can also run things not only in a work tree, but in a Docker container, so it's completely separate. And I think that are the basic features. And then there's also an arena mode where you can let different models work on the same problem. So, for example, maybe I do it for the test project. I do, let's use maybe Cloud and Codex, and I can say, write a beautiful poem about or something. And then hopefully they don't crash. They sometimes do it if you run them from the this way.
Claude's dead. Oh,
I know it works. Oh yeah, you see, both are done. This okay? They wrote it inline, but you can also check the terminal output here. Yeah, and you can compare like what happened and what is better. You can merge them directly. You can, for your own purposes, you can rate them how they did. So you have like a, I don't know, a timeline then. And you can also take the results from both of them and say compare all, and then it opens up a new third agent which compares FOSS. Let's see, maybe something interesting will happen. I'm not sure. Yeah, probably not, because there haven't been file changes in what we requested, but yeah. Yeah, I think that cover all. Yeah, and you can also maybe also nice. You can do the same mechanic you have for the plan view. You can also use for the code changes. So I can also say what the fuck about particular changes if I want. Don't write what the fuck. Be better be friendly to your AI overlords. Yeah. And you can also ask questions about the code if something is not clear. And yeah, it's not like something super innovative, but for me personally, like it really makes working much faster, and also much less draining than it was before having this tool. Before I was using multiple terminals side by side, and I did the code review stuff I did in my IDE, and there was a lot of context switching involved, and also this I had to do the quasi putting together what belongs together that I had to do in my head, and here I have it visually also. Which works really much better than it did before. Yeah, and one more thing.
Okay.
You can also connect your phone to continue your work. Don't recommend that from a life quality point of view, but for example, if you go outside and you can use it to connect via Tailscale, and then you can say, yes, please do everything from your phone.
Okay.
Yeah. Any questions?
Well, this is not really an area that I've ever I've played with AI tools before, but dealing with agents is something I've not really played around with at this point. So a lot of what I'm seeing here is like I knew it was possible. Like I've seen people do it. It's just not something I really have any first-hand experience with. I think like I think what you have here like clearly lays it out well and just sort of puts that information in front of you in a really convenient way. But I just have so little experience with this kind of software that it's hard for me to even sort of know what I would be missing or like what I could ask about it.
Yeah, I see. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Are you writing code sometimes a little bit, or
Personal projects.
Yeah. It's probably hard to see the value in all this, but from it's probably also like depends on the person, and I know there are different many different tools all there already. It's the space is moving crazy fast. But I like the concept also. Like it's not like I mean, there's open code also, which is a cool project, but most projects around this they have some venture capital, and they have some big funding behind it, and their idea is often to get you to pay for their AI wrapper subscription.
Right.
And this is different in this regard, because you just use the subscriptions you already have, and you can use them within that tool. And let's say in I don't know, there comes a better solution along in a couple of months, then there is no, you don't use the skills you develop with interacting with these AI terminals, um, um, because it's not like a specific setup to it. It's just mostly a UI. Yeah.
I think it's cool. I think it's kind of cool. Are you done showing things at this point?
Yeah. Let
Okay.
me.
Yep. Easy. There we go. Okay, sweet. I think it's a cool project. I think it's certainly I've spoken to people who do mess around with these AI tools, and they do find it to be annoying till I have to, place a bunch of windows all around the place and keep things sorted together. So having it all being integrated together and then not be something that is tied into, hey, you're in our ecosystem, that seems like it has some value there. It seems like there's something, whilst it's not a thing that I would use, it seems like for people who are in that space, there is something there that is at least worth playing around with.
Yeah. Yeah, as I said, like for me personally, it really made my day more pleasurable. And yeah, as with to do apps, probably it's like individual. Like maybe some people don't do this kind of multitasking at all, or maybe it's just also like more productive workflow in a way. But if you have like the same habit of getting distracted really easily when you have to wait for, because it's probably that's how it is at the moment. Maybe they get faster in the future. I don't know. But yeah, then you might also find this helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't really have anything to add to that. Like it is an area that I am very I understand that I'm very uninformed about what like the current state of agents and really playing around with this software. It's an area that I really should play around with more just to see what is actually possible at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. It's really an interesting question. Like for me as a programmer, I can't really make any predictions like how the whole work situation will look like in a year or so. Because at the moment, like the CEOs of AI companies, they say like, oh yeah, we are close to how it's called the singularity,
Yeah.
and well, but it could well as be marketing. I don't know. And also what the impact of that would be if like having this capabilities means like you don't need programmers anymore, or maybe you need more programmers and there will just be more software. I really don't know. I really really have no clue what will happen. But it's yeah, certainly moving very fast. And yeah, it's really interesting times we're living in. Probably very likely not all for the better, but it's at the moment, at least for the programmer sector, it doesn't look like it will be stopped, or that there is any way of returning to the good old days. Probably won't happen. Which is also interesting, I think, like for me, like programming changed a lot. Like before all this AI tools, it was like a little bit like there was also this beauty to writing beautiful code, and there's a lot of satisfaction, maybe a little bit comparable to solving a riddle or something like that, or yeah, maybe maybe even writing a poem or something. And this is gone because at least me in my sector, there might be other sectors which are more security sensitive, where it might happen slower. But this it's just unfortunately it's true that you are more productive with AI, and you kind of have to use it if you if you want to have a job. And so yeah, but that totally changed the profession. Yeah, and it's probably you're at a good place. I can't. Well, I mean, like AI influencers is also a thing.
It
I don't
is
know.
a
What
thing, but
are you worried that that I will take your job?
I don't know. I legitimately don't know, because right now it's still there are these channels that do exist, but right now it's very obvious that like what they are. But I don't know again where we're gonna be in 3 years. Like, are we gonna be at a point where it is indiscernible? Right, but at the same time, what we have now, I think, has actually opened up the doors for people who otherwise who would make good content, who otherwise wouldn't have been able to get it out to people. So I've seen these like engineering channels, and the channel creator is, I don't know, let's say they are from Pakistan, for example, and English, they know English, like they can review what the AI is saying, but they're not comfortable in speaking it, right? And this has given them the ability to actually have a voice, and they're physically making things, but they're using the AI as a bridge to sort of let them get that out there in a way that just was not going to happen before. And I think for stuff like that, it is really cool. But when it comes to just entirely AI generated channels, right now it's bad, but I don't know where things are going to be in a couple of years. And I think anyone who's saying that it's never going to be good, it's never going to get better, like you are delusional, right? Like you are deluding yourself. How expensive it's going to be, that's a whole nother question. But I don't see things slowing down, and what that means, not just in programming, not just in like news, content creation, what that then means in like legal field. What does that mean in basically any sort of knowledge work? Because robotics are much further away. There's definitely jobs that are being automated with machinery, with robotics, but like we're not replacing electricians with robots anytime soon. The robotics problem there is very complicated, and I don't see that one. Or like a plumber, right? Things like that.
Yeah.
You could build an AI system that can identify these problems, but then actually having that operate in the physical world is a whole different matter. So these knowledge jobs, though, I just don't know what is going to exist 10 years from now.
Yeah. Yeah. I have also no idea what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, I thought like it's there is just no real intelligence. Maybe that's it's probably still true in a way, but what you can do with that not real intelligence, it's really impressive. Like the one example, like this video generation. I remember in the beginning, like there were these very weird looking faces, and I thought, yeah, okay, this would take a long time. And now we have like very realistic videos to the point that it's that's also a little bit scary. Like when for example, my mother, she is in her 70s, and I don't know even if I, as someone in this specific business, would recognize certain types of scams, and it's a little bit scary what's coming possible with that.
Yeah, especially when with like scam calls, for example, when they're then combined with data leaks and data collection, and they actually have private information that you wouldn't expect a scam caller to know.
Yeah.
That's really concerning.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I guess we are find out.
Yeah. We can't, like, you're not stopping the train, right? This is happening, and you're gonna have to live in this world, and you're gonna have to work out how you operate in this world where nothing digital is real. Nothing. You just have to assume everything is fake.
Yeah. Yeah, probably safe to do so. Yeah. Yeah, another thing I find interesting is like the amount of content that gets produced, like in form of text, but also in videos, and now also in software. That there is so much. There's so much more software. I don't know, for games, I think it is like there are 10,000 games, new games released every month.
Yes,
That's a
some
lot of games.
insane number. Yeah.
Yeah. Who's going to play them all? Probably no one.
Well, that's the thing. Most games on Steam, I don't think they actually make back the fee to put the game on Steam.
Yeah, probably not.
How many Steam games are released daily? This is in 2023, so it's probably sped up since then. 40 to 50 games a day.
Yeah, that's quite a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot. But almost all of these so there is this interesting chart I've seen. Whilst the number of games has massively increased, the number of good games, it's not even proportional. The number of good games hasn't, right? So total games skyrocketed, and you look at this like tiny little piece of the graph, this pretty stagnant line of the number of good games per year. So no amount of this tooling is going to make, at least for now, don't know where things are going to go, but someone who is a talented developer, a talented engineer, is always going to make considerably better products and projects with something than someone who has no idea what they're doing, right? Even if we get to a point where the AI can do everything for you, something needs to direct it in the correct way. And this, before we hit super intelligence, above human intelligence, like, that's a whole nother story. But whilst we're still at the point where they're kind of just, like, flopping around, you need someone there that is going to be able to direct it.
Yeah. At least for the time being. It's also like what I'm hoping with programming, that it's said that AI is not yet a good architect, and I hope it will stay like this for for a little while longer. Because if it becomes a good architect, then it's coming to the point where you have to ask, like, what's even the point of working on anything. Really.
Yeah. I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer.
Damn it.
I wish I did. Yeah. Give up and go be an electrician. There's the answer. Go be a mechanic.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a tough problem. It really is. Yeah. I think we've pretty much touched on everything I wanted to talk about. Unless there's anything else that you wanted to touch on.
No.
Okay.
No, I think. Thank you very much for letting me talk this much.
Yeah, no, it was a pleasure. I know, like, the main thing of that super productivity, but like I enjoyed the rambling about AI and where things are going and project funding as well, and I think this was fun. I hope people enjoyed it and they got something out of it.
Yeah, I hope so too.
If people want to check out the project and get involved, where can they go?
For both
Yeah, both.
projects, probably the GitHub pages.
Okay.
Maybe I can send a link or
The GitHub's linked at the bottom for super productivity. Is it the same for the other one? Yes. Yes, it is. Yep, so there's the GitHub for parallel code. There is the GitHub for super productivity.
Yeah.
That's
That's probably the best place for both projects. Yeah.
Anywhere else you want to direct people to? If you want to support the project or anything like that?
There's a subreddit for super productivity. There's also like a YouTube channel with not much content on it about super productivity. There's also like social media. There is Blue Sky and Mastodon, and also a Discord community available if you're into that. But for everything technical or for feature ideas or for bugs or all that kind of stuff, the best place is a GitHub page for both projects.
Fair enough. If people want to support the project or anything like that, did you mention that? I might have zoned out for a second.
Yes. There are lots of ways to do that. It's possible to donate, like via GitHub sponsors, and also what helps quite a lot is just spreading the word that those projects exist. That's probably one of the most impactful things you can do.
Okay. That's everything?
I think so.
Okay, I'll do my outro and then we'll sign off.
Cool.
Okay, my main channel is Brody Robertson. I do Linux videos there 6-ish days a week. Sometimes I stream as well. I've got the gaming channel that is Brody on Games. Right now I'm playing through Shenmue 3 and Metal Gear Solid 2. If you're watching the video version of this, you can find the audio version on basically every podcast platform. There is an RSS feed as well. And the video is on YouTube at Tech Over Tea. Also, we have a Spotify video, if you like Spotify video for some reason. How do you want to sign us off? What do you want to say to end off the show?
Thank you very much for having me. It was a real pleasure.
Absolute pleasure.
Yeah, really cool. I enjoyed really talking to you. And yeah, all the best for all of your endeavors.
Thank you. I appreciate it.